Hey, Edible Lab here. Just here again with a short little video. Been out in the garden today, mainly sowing a lot of seeds. I'm going to repot some things as well, but I recently, today, went to a native nursery that specializes in Australian native plants. And, sometimes, because I'm mainly into edible plants, sometimes there's a lot of Australian plants that make good eating too, or can be eaten. Whether they're, incredible or not, that's up to me to find out, I guess, after growing them. So I saw this plant that I'd heard about and seen before. It's sometimes referred to as a native guava. Excuse the wind. Also known as a bolwara, or native guava. And so this one is a fairly decent size, and I noticed it has flower buds on it. I'll put it down. It's got flower buds on it. There, it's got a few, despite being quite small, so I can tell it's being grown from a cutting. It's not a seedling. And this plant is native from fairly southern-ish places, parts of Victoria in Australia, all the way up to tropical Australia in Queensland, and even native, I think, to parts of Papua New Guinea. It's sort of like in its own kind of unique botanical group, but it is distantly related to Annona, so distantly related to custard apples and magnolia. It's in that sort of area as well. So despite being called a native guava, it's not actually a myrtle, so it's not really related to guavas at all. Despite from maybe the fruit is like kind of similar shape. Apparently the flowers are meant to smell nice, and which would make sense, I guess, considering if it's maybe related to magnolia. Some of them have a nice smell, and the fruit's meant to be nice, despite having quite a few seeds. But I'm basically gonna pot this up because it's got a considerable number of roots at the bottom, and just finish the video on that. So the other main reason I went out today was to get more sand. I ran out of sand, and I was using, the only sand you really want to use for propagation media or potting mix is river sand, because if you buy beach sand, it's going to have salt in it, or most other types of sand. You don't want to get like builder's sand or stuff like that either. You want proper washed river sand. And so I was using one from A&L, Australian National Landscapes. They're a big big brand store that specializes in a lot of natural like landscaping materials, and so they have quite cheap river sand. It's probably the cheapest you can buy unless you bought like 100 kilos, and I have nowhere to put 100 kilos of sand, so I was just buying bags from them. And then that's actually what it looks like. It's like very coarse, which is good for potting mix, provides good drainage, but it wasn't, really washed. When you watered it, it would like release all this silt and stuff, but I mean, I've had no issues with it so far, other than that it wasn't really as clean as I thought. Today I went to A&L, but they actually somehow had no sand. They'd run out of sand, apparently. Would you believe it? Anyway, I ended up going to Flower Power, which is another nursery chain, and I bought their sand. It's river sand. Says it's suitable for general garden use. Says it is washed. It looks a lot more washed and clean than the A&L stuff, but it also looks like it's from a playground. So I'm just going to use it now, and I've mixed up a large amount of sand with some potting mix and a small amount of coco coir in this mix. Not really a negligible amount of coco coir, but hopefully that gives this some good drainage, the bolwara native guava, and then I'm going to pot it up, and hopefully it does okay. Hopefully this river sand is proper good river sand, but we'll see. I'll come back when it's potted up. So there we go. It's all potted up now. Got it just a bit above grade, but this mix should hopefully be pretty well draining. There's so much sand in there. Anyway, I'll have to keep an eye on it. These are native to rainforests, so they like a lot of water, they like a lot of moisture. Even in temperate areas, they're native to temperate rainforests. They're still quite moist environments, but obviously they like good drainage too. Apparently the leaves are meant to smell. So one of these leaves is sort of just half falling off and broken off. So let's give it a smell and see what it smells like. Ooh, yeah, it's got a fairly aromatic smell. Some Annona also have that quality, like soursop leaves smell really strong, have a very strong, yeah, green smell, or very herbal type smell. This also has a bit of a herbal smell. It's hard to say what it smells like. But it's not a bad smell. Sometimes soursop can be a bit pungent, and I guess I'm comparing to soursop, but yeah, a leafy green smell, but pleasant, I guess. Anyway, that is the Bolwara, or Australian native guava. I'll give some updates on how it goes, how it grows, if it's got, when the flowers open, how they smell, and maybe if I'm able to get some fruit, how it tastes. But flowers are meant to sort of come around summertime, and then fruit from autumn into, it even said winter when I sort of did some research, but I guess we'll have to see. Anyways, that's all for now. Until next time.